So we'll just wait for a confirmation that this session is being recorded before we could go ahead. Perfect. Thanks, Ashwin, for confirming that. Hello, Nishant. Okay. All right. I think I've just gotten a message that we are good to go to get this started. And here we go. So, hello, listeners. Welcome to Google Football Podcast. This episode is sort of a special edition. Today on this pod, we will drift away from matters on the football pitch and focus on matters that many football fans dream of, which is having a career in the football industry. Also, for the first time, Google Football Podcast is streaming live with the live audience at Creator Club, who have given us this amazing platform to amplify this discussion. For the audience listening to this live via Creator Club, we will be taking questions at the end of this pod. So feel free to drop in your questions and we will get to them at the end. It kind of feels good to be streaming live, to be very honest, and that too a special edition. Right. So today on the pod, I am joined by the head of football content at 90 Minute Meet India, Mudit Arora, and I will put him under the spotlight as he takes us through his journey, how he got into this industry, and what anyone should do if they dream of having a career in football media in India. Welcome to the pod, Mudit. How are you doing?
Hey, Amol. Hi. Thanks for having me, man. Doing good, doing good. How are you?
I'm doing good. It's pretty cold there. I see you are wearing a t-shirt and I'm wearing I think, 4 or 5 layers.
It's Mumbai. It's Mumbai.
And you also have a AC behind, which I can't agree.
The
Perfect.
AC is not on, but it's not much cold here in Mumbai anyway, any time of the year. So, I think.
Nice. So
Uh,
Mudit,
I guess I
it's
see a comment by Khushi who says unable to hear you guys properly. Can anyone just reply and say if they can hear us? Do you see that comment too?
yeah, I see that.
Okay.
Okay, Piyush says yes. Jay
Okay.
says yes. Thanks for
Nice,
confirming,
nice.
guys.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Kushi, I'd suggest maybe check your audio settings. I think we are looking good here. Cool. So look, back at the pod, Mudit. It's lovely to have you here, and I personally am really excited to have you on this pod. This is an amazing topic to hear from someone like you. It'll not only be a help to anyone who is listening to this live or on late in the when I put it out in the world, but it will also help the host of this podcast as well. So let's do this, Mudit. I
Yeah.
do have some questions ready, but usually my podcasts go with the flow. And me being this curious person that I am, you can expect questions coming on the go, to be extremely honest.
Sure.
So let's go. Question number one. How did you end up working in football media?
Well, that's this question. The answer can never end. It's been a long journey. I've been a football fan since the late '90s, and I've been following this game since then. I'm a Manchester United fan personally, but when I started following football, it was more on how fast the game got over. I mean, India is a cricket centric country. People love to watch the game here, and in the 90s it was a 50-50 or a test match that goes on, no 2020 and all that. So this game was compact. It was 90 minutes or maximum 120 minutes, and it happened in at such a fast pace that it kind of intrigued me to that this is kind of the game that you want to keep watching week
Right.
after week. In India, the football scene at that time was that there were only one or two channels that were broadcasting these games, ESPN or
Yeah.
Sports, and
ESPN.
yeah, ESPN, and that too for just a couple of teams like Manchester United or
Yeah.
Liverpool or Arsenal. So
Correct.
it was just like watching it religiously because it was
Mm.
rare. It was rare. The matches came rarely.
Right.
Yeah, so that's how I kind of started watching it, and then eventually, like I live in a society here in Mumbai in Malad, so my friends started watching too. Then we all started. We bought a football by contributing together, and yeah, of course, middle
I can
class.
totally relate to all of that. I can totally relate to all of that.
Yeah. Then we contributed and got a football, and let's start playing. We broke a few windows, and then we kind
Yeah.
of started playing and then watching games together in summer vacations.
Mm.
Also, it was because April, May, the season used to end, but our vacations used to
Mm.
start. So after those, in those vacations, we used to watch together, and then we grew up watching these games together. So they became an Arsenal fan, they became a Liverpool fan, they became a Manchester United fan, and that's how it started growing. It basically was like it was back then. It wasn't my passion to. I
Mm.
never knew that I'd be working in this field, but I knew that
Mm.
I loved the game. So
Right.
since then, I've never stopped watching the game, and then that's what kind of led me to where I finally ended up.
Mm. Right. No, I can, like I was saying, it was pretty relatable. But this wasn't your first gig, right?
Oh,
You've had
oh no,
there
no.
is an interesting journey behind. A lot of things happened before you ended up with 90 minutes, and we'll come to 90 minutes as well
Yeah.
later in this pod. But before 90 minutes, where were you? What were you doing?
Yeah, so this starts after my 12th standard. In 2005, I finished my 12th standard here from Mumbai, and uh, randomly I didn't know what to do in life. It was pretty obvious that I didn't know what I was good at. I mean, and parents in our generation, Amol, they think that तुझे बनना है तो तुझे engineer बनना है. You have to become like or going into an MBA or doing that and doing this. So I kind of
Right.
had to go with the flow because I myself didn't know what I wanted to do. It just happened that I got into Bachelor's of Management Studies, and then eventually in the final year I thought I'd be good at finance, you know. So I took finance, and then
Which year was this
this
for
was
the
in
audience? Because we'll sort of try to
2015.
prepare a timeline here, a timeline of
Yeah,
events.
I'm born in 1987. 2005, I started my graduation, bachelor's in management studies. 2008, I passed out with a finance degree. Then 2008, I got a placement at JP Morgan Chase, and I started my journey in finance field without. I loved football back then also, but it's
Mm.
just
Just as a hobby,
just the
I
norm, you
guess.
know. If you just have to go into a finance company, and
Mm.
coming from like this Punjabi family where all cousins are bloody investment bankers,
Mm.
it kind of got to my family too. And at that
Right, right.
time, it's obvious that parents. I don't blame my parents because they kind of did what was good for me. They thought at that time was good for me, and I also kind of went with the flow without
Right.
realizing that, dude, I think your talent lies somewhere else. I kind of knew that from deep inside, but I did not tap it. I
Right.
just went with the flow because yeah, JP Morgan Chase was standing in front of me offering me a job after my graduation. So I
Mm.
just took it. I
Right.
took it. Then I worked for 2 years there, did my MBA in finance, then got into Nomura, another investment bank, and then like life struck me. You know, those light
Mm.
strikes on top of my head. What the hell are you doing? I
Right.
was took out that word here, but yeah. So 2 months into Nomura, I realized no,
Not
this
for
is
you.
this is not it. I can't
Mm.
end up like this, man.
Mm.
Not
Mm.
sitting on a desk and just staring at a screen and thinking, what am I doing? So
Mm.
I quit. I quit, and I'm proud of the fact that I quit. So
Mm.
then began the difficult journey. I took a break. Then I realized I started to jot down points as to what am I good at. Let me just get
Mm.
back to the drawing board and see what am I good at. I realized that whenever you face a problem in life where you are very uncertain, you literally have to make a storyboard. You were here,
Mm.
then you began, there you reached, and then what you did, which decision you took that made you to lead here. Then keep backtracking on those decisions, and then reach that stage again where you can take a new decision. That's how
Mm.
I kind of
Interesting.
that's I how I kind of found that I should be changing fields.
Mm.
But still, it did not end there. I come from a family of teachers, so I thought teaching would be my thing.
So you tried your hand at teaching then.
So I tried my hand at teaching. I joined Ryan International School. I guess many might know. There was this school just beside my building. So I just randomly walked in. I said, I want to be a teacher, man. Can you help me?
Wow.
They're like, no, you don't have a B.Ed degree, so you can't be a teacher.
Mm.
But we do have an opening for a media producer at Ryan International School's TV in-house TV show. I said, great.
Oh.
Yeah, I said,
Oh.
great. It's a new experience. That was my first exposure towards media. What actually broadcast media is.
Mm.
It was mostly broadcast media, but it still gave me the basics of scripting, of writing, because I was good at the language, but I didn't know that we could do so much with this language. you know so they had a TV show, we scripted shows for them and everything. So that's how I kind of got into media. And then I worked there for 2.5 years, and then quit with a clear mind that, okay, boss, this is the field that I want to be in. Then I did my master's from NMIMS. It was a new course. There was a in-house college called Harkisan Mehta under NMIMS, and then I finished that, and then struggled for a few months because there was a media recession back in 2015 end. Because I was not getting any job, I went to Noida, to Sector 41 or whatever that is, wherever there is the media channels. You might know the
Mm.
whole area of media channels
Your
together.
houses.
Yeah, media houses. I went for a job there. I didn't get any. I tried contacts. I'll tell the audience. So I tried contacts. Yeah, I did the sin of trying contacts. I had contacts, but none of them worked out. And I kind of eventually, it's like, okay, now I need to start thinking about what is happening. What did I just do? What just happened? And
Mm.
then I sat back home and gave up. I just gave up. It was like,
Mm.
screw it. Dad had a business. I thought, okay, that's my life now. I moved on to it. I moved on from everything, and I joined my dad's business. Now, during that time also, I was not like I was actively looking for jobs, but I started thinking, why not just, if there's nothing that you can do, why not just try to find some jobs in football? There might be something. You might be just sitting home and writing stuff and earning a penny, and then working with that too. So I searched. I looked for like the generic search football jobs in India, and the first thing that popped up was Hindustan Times has partnered with 90 Min, and we are looking for a Hindi editor. I applied. I didn't care if I didn't know much how to write Hindi. My Hindi was good in speaking and writing too, but in terms of editorially, I had no experience, no exposure to it. But I applied, and I applied. I got a call. They initially said they were looking for a Hindi editor, but eventually, once they found out my profile and they told me to write a couple of articles, they just guided me through to, yeah, man, you could be a good first hire for 90 Min in their India operations. But that took like 2-3 days. So from like a totally downhill phase, in 3 days I was up in the sky having the job of my dreams. And now since 2016, I'm here.
Wow. So you finally made it after 2008. You graduated. Sorry, you joined JP Morgan,
Yeah.
and 2016. It took 8 years for you to land a job of your dreams, and it's 2022. You've been doing that for 6 years.
Mm.
Um, I will come to 90 minutes very, very soon. Just
Yeah.
one more question before I come there. So you did have, I think you took a degree in media before you joined 90 minutes, right?
Yep. Yep.
But for our listeners who are tuned in, listening to this, um, is it important? I mean, is there any experience or qualifications important to work in football media since that's the topic for the
No.
day? Uh,
No.
hmm?
I don't think you don't need a degree to work in this field. You simply need good language and good passion, and not good passion, just passion basically for the game. And once you express that, you will always have editors at every website who will be ready to help you, with showing you the changes which kind of match with their content strategy, with their style of writing of their website. So I personally promote anyone who has interest in writing, even if he's working in any other field, if he's an engineer or whatever, if he has interest in writing about football or even passionate about the game, the writing can be worked upon. So it's
Hmm.
not something that needs a special degree. Sports management, sports media, those are all courses. They will give you expertise of the technicals basically. But if
Hmm.
you want to keep it basic and you just want to express your opinion about football, that can be done by simply expressing about it and having the help of someone like me or someone like any other editor who will be able to guide you as to how it should look when the reader reads it online.
So what are the avenues, since we do not have any degree or any exposure experience in the past, and starting out afresh, for someone like me, for example, or there'll be people listening into this podcast who will be starting out afresh. What are the avenues? What are the channels? What are the platforms one can use to get established, become established, try to become established, at least try to get your articles out there, published, and become relevant in the industry.
Yeah, so that's an uphill task here, because the football media industry specifically, the sports media industry is huge. You can always
Hmm.
land a job for cricket, you can always land a job for kabaddi, and you can always land a job for other prevalent big sports, badminton. Like, these sports have opportunities, have even the investment of the bigger companies to hire more, to have a bigger team. But football is still growing. I mean, even you can speak about whatever the ISL is doing, whatever is happening with the Indian national team. They are growing, yes, but are they? I mean, yeah,
Hmm.
it's still at a very nascent stage, and this directly impacts the job market. Because fans are mostly interested in the European football. So there are, mind you, I'm not trying to offend any Indian football fans. There are crazy Indian football fans here, me being one of them. But majority of the audience is inclined towards a Real Madrid, towards a Barcelona, towards a Manchester United, towards a Liverpool, or PSG, Messi, Ronaldo. Those are the things that revolve around an Indian
Football.
football fan's mind. So,
Right.
so that's probably something that needs to be targeted here. If you're looking at joining the football space, it won't be easy, but it also won't be difficult if you kind of know what you want to excel at. These days,
Hmm.
apart from just putting out news, a writer should have an opinion. um, my suggestion to all those newcomers would be develop an opinion. If you're
Hmm.
watching a certain game, develop an opinion about it, be original in the content that you do, because that will keep you apart from the 100,000 people who will be joining to write news.
Hmm.
Anyone can write, but forming an opinion about a certain thing that you feel very strongly about in football or in cricket or in any other sport will make you apart. This is what I've realized in the last couple of years. I was continuously doing just news pieces from 2016, just writing news and viral articles which people will click on. I won't hide. I wrote clickbait articles too. It's
Hmm.
really prevalent in the industry, and it's not something that's wrong, but it's something that eventually, after once you mature, you'll realize, what the hell am I doing? Why should I
Hmm.
misguide the audience? The audience has to be informed rather than misinformed about things. So it's basically a growth structure that eventually will lead you to a certain niche where you will find out that you're good at this. So that's what
Hmm.
mm, we get at. That's what I kind of personally got at eventually.
Right. Cool. So here we go. Last 6 years at 90 Minutes India. Now, for those who do not know about 90 Minutes at all, Mudit, can you explain 90 Minutes to our listeners, and also your role at 90 Minute India?
Yeah. Hi. So I started as editor for Hindi in 90 Min in 2016. I am currently a senior editor for English in 90 Min India. Even here my journey has been. So yeah. So I'm a senior editor here at 90 Min India. What we do on a day-to-day basis is help writers become better in their expressions about the beautiful game. our writers love to write about football, and it's kind of that thing that helps us to kind of keep going, to give more people more chances in order to express their opinion about football. Recently we started with it's just the first time we did that was we partnered with an official fan group here in India of Manchester United, and they have a team of writers who are, you know, brilliantly expressive. They want to write, they want to express about the game. So we kind of gave them the opportunity, the platform to be published on our website and, you know, write for us and express their opinions in the best way they can. And that's what I aim for 90 Min India to be. I don't want it to be three editors running the whole website and thinking they're doing a great job. That's not inclusivity of football fans is what we intend to do, and that's what we are, you know, planning for the road ahead. So even in 2022, with the World Cup year coming, we are totally open for anyone without any prior football writing experience to try and gain experience with us if they want to write about football, about the World Cup that's coming in. So it's something that you can always get in touch. Amol can also give my contact details or my LinkedIn, or you can get in touch with Amol, or you can get in touch with anyone in the industry. So basically, it's very open. I mean, not every website will kind of be open to this, but I personally am. It's my mission to kind of give everyone equal opportunities. So that's what we aim to do.
So that's 90 Min India. But 90 Min as a whole, as a global website that there is, how's that like? What's the content on that website like? How is it different maybe from,
Yeah.
I don't know, gold.com, for example?
Yeah, so 90 Min as a whole is a fan-centric website. It's not just a news
Okay.
website. It has fan-wise sections. But the content strategy is mostly 360 degree. It means we have mix our video content and our written content together, and then
Okay.
put it out on social media. So you might have seen our YouTube videos and, you know, those things. But we have an in-house video production team who kind of complements every content piece with videos which need to go inside those articles. So those, of course, those guys are on a lot of budget. So those guys kind of have to work with a lot of things. They have campaigns running with different partners across the globe. So they are campaigning with Chelsea Football Club for now. So it's those guys are, we have always been separated from them with regards to the fact that our partnership with Hindustan Times earlier, they wanted a separate India website. They didn't want us
Hmm.
to be like, you know, with the UK team, the main.com English team. So that's the reason why we had to have a separate website for English. And it's continued till now. But I guess it's good because we can use that website to give more Indian centric ideas, more Indian football content, more opinions from Indian fans. So that's what we've been doing here.
Oh, okay. Interesting. What's your ideal day like? And you obviously have been here for 6 years. You're the head of content for 90 Minute India. How have you seen, or how have you contributed to the growth of 90 Minute India specifically?
Yeah. I've been here since day one of this website, since it was launched. So in 2016, this website was launched in July. Yeah, in July. And since then, I've been here. I've seen this website become from a full Hindi website to a totally English website. So that transition is something that, you know, that has happened. For me, it still feels like it's happened yesterday, but it's a long time going. It's been a lot of struggle to get where we are. So an ideal day in for me as of now is managing my people. My people are working for me 24/7. They are always there, available for any news that breaks out. Me myself, I contribute to the writing of articles because we are a small team. We are a team with three more people other than me, so a team of four, in which one person does Malayalam content for us, which we also do. So we have three people in English, and we kind of run the whole website 24/7. So we have our shifts divided. Our writer writes during the day, but me and my colleague kind of work towards, he does the day work, I do the night work, and then that's how we uh, kind of manage. It's not easy, but it's something that we are passionate about, so we kind of do it pretty well. And with
Nice.
four people in the team, we managed to get decent amount of traffic. I won't reveal the number here, but you know the number. Yeah.
Right. Cool. Interesting. So you mentioned you have a team, and you would obviously would have taken questions of this sort. But for again the listeners out here, for any young writer or journalist who's willing to start a career in football media, what would be your advice? What would be the pros and cons that you can list for anyone? Not so much to dishearten them, but to kind of prepare them for the
Yeah,
challenges that lie ahead.
yeah. For specifically in the football field, be ready to be accepted at internships everywhere. You will definitely be able to easily get internships at any website, including mine. I don't think any website stops people from applying for internships. They would be, in fact, they are very opening of the fact that because many of my interns have gone to other websites to intern. I can also give a list to Amol after the call, and I can give a list of websites which any of you who are interested in writing can literally go and shoot them an email, and they'll give you an internship and exposure to learn. But making a full-fledged career in this is a struggle because the teams are limited, the budgets are limited. Unless you're at a goal.com or you're at a Sportskeeda, those guys are kind of growing at a pace in which they have multiple sports which they do, and they have big editions that they have, but they are not like a 90 Min India. We are very limited in our budget. I run 90 Min India in a budget of around $1,700 per month. It's crazy, but we do it. It's just a team of 4 people. So that's how we kind of do it. But if you're talking only about football media, and it's um, it's a double-edged sword basically. If you land it, you land it. If you don't land it, you keep on grinding. So
Hmm.
that's what football, the media, would be in India for quite some time, unless it becomes a prime sport, which I doubt it will. So anyone who's looking to join this field, don't get disheartened. Keep grinding. If you're ready to do the grind, you'll eventually land up in a big position. I guess his connection is gone, or my connection is gone. You guys can hear me? Okay, yeah. I think he'll join back, but meanwhile, you guys can shoot your questions on chat. I'll be more than happy. I hope I've kind of tried to. Okay, I see. I want to become a commentator or journalist in football. So, is there any path uh, I can follow? See, there are multiple things you can do. There are multiple things you can do. Atawaris. I hope I'm pronouncing the name right. I'm sorry if I'm not. But there are multiple things you can do. If you're talking about becoming a proper commentator or journalist in football, you need to have a degree here. It's not something that can work without a degree, because if you're talking about becoming a commentator, you will have to be affiliated with the leagues that are kind of broadcasting the football games in India. So if you're talking specifically about becoming a commentator in India, I suggest you go for the masters in journalism, and at the same time you can go for a specific course that is given by AIFF with regards to commentary. I think you can just research on that. Then we have Kevin. The industry demands such writers who can write viral pieces rather than to give opinions. How a starter should pave his path for becoming an writer. Okay, so this is a very good one, Kevin. Actually, there's a very thin line of difference between being a proper writer who gives his opinions, hard-hitting opinions on the game, and being a writer who just writes viral pieces in order to get reads. I totally understand your point, and it is something that all websites do. Clickbait, we call it clickbait, or call it click-worthy or clickable. Clickable content is what gets most number of reads, and viral pieces are something that form part of clickable content. It is great to do it because it will eventually give you reads, but it is also something that will not help you build an audience. You need an audience that stays with you for years, rather than it just comes to you to visit one article in which you've written something viral, you know. So viral pieces, I think it should be more of a balance, like a 60% good content and 40% can be like opinions, lists, and you know other things. But 60% should be news and you know concrete stuff that you need to give to your audience. You viral pieces on football are absolutely essential for websites. It definitely is, because it garners you the most reach, but eventually you also have to build your own brand, right? So that's something that kind of resonates with me. Your opinion can be totally different. I agree. Yes, Amol, I was just answering some questions on chat.
No, no, thanks for taking that up, being prompting on that because I lost this connection. But anyhow,
Yeah.
actually, you just had one more thing, one more
Yeah.
question, to be honest. So, and this is an important one. I mean, I have always had this question, and since you work with 90 million, the UK team, I think you might be having a better opinion on this. So the question is, football is a global sport. We are here in India, far away from the action that is happening in Europe, for example. How can this gap be bridged in terms of an actual career, or should it always be treated as just a hobby? I mean, do people out there in UK, for example, realize that there's this huge set of fans or writers across the world who want to work in the industry but are far away? And this is not just in India. I mean, in my short experience of freelancing, I have come across writers looking for work from across the world, Africa, Asia, you name it. So how does this whole thing work? How it was the whole setup like where people cover the sport sitting oceans away?
Yeah. So this is a tricky one, because you know in Europe football is the most followed sport, and they have the most people covering the
Mm,
sport. So in essence, they don't kind of need um, a backup or support, or you know people for writing content that they follow in front of their eyes from anywhere
right,
in the world,
exactly.
right? But what is important is that these websites want to brand themselves in such a way that they are a global website. Now,
Mm.
which is why you see goal.com also have people from South Africa. They have an edition of South Africa. I mean, I have been watching them since they are my competitors here in India, but yeah, they have they have a website for South Africa. They have a website specifically for India, and then they have a global website. So it's the same for us, but we are not in South Africa. But then still, it's the same for us. It's um, anywhere. So, for example, my website, you won't be able to see outside India. Our website is totally limited just to India. If you go outside India, you will be able to see the global website, which is there. You know, so that's how we've been kind of positioned in the market. So I, I mean, yes, it is a global sport, and if you're talking about um, how to bridge that gap in order to make an actual career out of it, it's difficult again. I would definitely say it's difficult. It's not easy. You need to invest time, you need to invest money, you need to invest your energy and your dreams in order to get where you want to be in this industry. um if if making a career in India itself is kind of a double-edged sword, as I said before, it's not as simple as it looks like. If you're talking about moving abroad and trying to do this, that I've tried. I've tried to apply for Manchester United in order to become their editor, but they require 10 years of experience. Other websites
Mm.
for Asians, the criteria is a bit different, and it's not to be made
Mm.
in the wrong way. They want to stick to their roots, and they have the full right to stick
Right.
to their roots. It's something that's inherent. Our best bet, according to me, for whoever is wanting to become a journalist or want to make a career in India, stick to India. I there's scope here. I mean, if you're specifically speaking about football, it will be a slow growth, but it will grow. And you always have European football as backup in order to make your knowledge better. But for me personally, my own ambition is to see the growth of Indian football, and that's what we kind of aim at every single day, to kind of do follow ISL, follow I League, promote I League more, because there is a set of fans who believe that I League is the real league of India and not ISL. So
Mm,
we are trying to kind
mm.
of bridge the gap between those fans first, rather than thinking of a more global approach, because we want to cater to our audience, and our audience kind of expects a lot out of us, which we need to deliver. So that's what we are kind of at now, and not much of a global thing for now.
Right. So, final questions. Final question, and post that we'll take any questions from the live audience here. So, Mudit, what can fans look forward to from 90 Min India in 2022
It's a great year, man. For any football fan, it's a great year. The World Cup is coming.
World Cup?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and although I have personal issues with it happening in Qatar, I don't want to spill the beans here, but there is a
Right.
lot of wrong with what is happening with the World Cup. But yeah, it's World Cup here. I might still visit, but yeah, whatever, man. Just it's from 90 Min India. You can look at more of fan voices, more of content from fans, not just editors and writers writing their pieces. We have Malayalam content also, which is added on our site. So we have kind of made it our objective to give the Malayalam audience also an exposure to write and express their opinions about football, and of course our any of you who are listening here, or any of you who get connected to this podcast in the future, who have who listen to this, please ensure that if you have an interest in writing, you get in touch with me. I'll definitely do anything I can to help you out, and probably even start you as a writer here with us. So it's something that I want to keep as an objective for the rest of the year.
Perfect. Perfect. And on that note, listener, we end today's pod. I hope you liked it. Do follow this pod on Spotify, Apple, Google. It's available out here. Please do follow, press the follow button to not miss out on any episodes of this pod. Um, the football world is massive. Like we discussed, there are innumerable stories to tell, which we will try to on this podcast. And Mudit, I cannot thank you enough for the time that you took out for this podcast. Um, Really good stuff from somebody of your experience, and uh, listeners and those out there on Creator right now, if you have, feel free to reach out to Mudit or myself on LinkedIn, um, and we'll be happy to help.
Yeah, like
I
you
think
can.
we
Should I just share my LinkedIn here, or your? I don't know. You can just share it with them.
I think I think you can type in on the right there is ask a question. I think we can the guys will be able to go for it. I think we can take some questions here. I mean, officially my pod is recorded and done, so I have the content for that. But anyone who is listening here live can take questions. Uh, I think I saw this question on how to start a podcast.
Yes.
Did you take that, or should I
No,
take
no,
that?
I left that for you, man. Just go for it.
Okay, right. So Piyush, you want to start a podcast? Again, I don't know which domain or which industry do you want to target, but if regarding starting a podcast, I just started this podcast in September. I have been a massive football fan myself since I was like 10 or 11 years old. So I thought I believed, or I still believe that I have a good knowledge of the game, and I can have good command on the language and skills to podcast, to record, and to voice my opinion on certain things. And I just started it. I do not have any mic or noise cancellation headphones, stuff like that. These are the only things that I possess to record. All I do is have people on. There are lot of platforms out there where you can do your recording, audio, video, whatever. For example, Zoom, and then have it recorded. Put out your content on Anchor is a nice platform which powered by Spotify, and I just end up publishing it. The groundwork that I do is I do write the script in advance. So breaking the news here, Mudit and I were in touch, and I did write a Q&A, just Q, which Mudit answered today. But he knew in advance what kind of questions would be coming in his way. So I put some thought into it that what questions might be relevant for this audience. And as part, as since I also believe that I'm also a writer, so I wrote the script for that. So I write my scripts. Um, I have guests, fans, journalists, if I can get hold of some on the on the Zoom session, record it, and I use Adobe Audition, which is a nice software to edit out your stuff. I'll add some music to it. I'll add some commentary or goals to it, and save it, put it on Anchor, publish it, and done. That's it. It's If you want to do it, go for it. It's not that big. It's not rocket science. It's very easy. All you need to do is have some belief and confidence, and yeah, some homework, some groundwork, and you should be good to go. Uh, Thank you, Kevin. Was We enjoyed as well. Honestly, I also got a lot of intel from Mudit here, so it was nice, obviously. Uh, any other questions that we missed out on? So yeah, I think one thing more is, I mean, football media. Again, I think I was here last time as well, without talking about writing. And since we're sticking to football here, I had mentioned this last time as well, so I'm gonna mention this today as again. Write every day. Make it a habit. Make it like brushing your teeth. You need to write. It looks easy, but when you literally start writing and that cursor goes on and off, on and off, you just lose it. It's not that easy. Sometimes it doesn't feel. Sometimes when in the flow, you can go on write 1200. I sometimes write 1200 to 1500 words in like an hour, and I just lose myself, which has become a habit after writing for days every single day. So there are enough platforms out there. Mudit mentioned about internships. At the same time, I also believe having your own blog is a good thing. Using Medium can be a great platform. Um, and pitching to various publications that you follow. Also follow good publications, good media houses. If you're into football, I think you should definitely follow the Athletic. See how they are writing their stuff, see how they are engaging you as a reader, and that is the kind of levels everyone should aim to reach in terms of writing. So but it also already answered the question about opinions. That's amazing. Obviously, we are far away from the European football, so we can't. I think journalism can be difficult, but then writing can be done. And if you are into Indian football, then you are much closer to the action, and you have a hand at. And I haven't, I don't have experience with this, but just feel that Indian football, personnel, coaches, players, people who work in the industry are a lot more approachable because they are out here. So that can also be a thing which we can done, right? Anything else, Mudit, you want to add while we find
You
questions?
summed it up perfectly. I mean, in the end, it's on the audience, whatever they prefer. We have to kind of
Mm,
deliver that. But personally, I would just give one suggestion: start watching Indian football, please. No matter how much you kind of don't like it at the beginning, keep watching it. At least know the players. If you're trying to make it into this field in India, you need to find multiple ways to kind of make it here.
mm,
One of those ways is having a good grasp of Indian football, because not everyone will give you a job for European football directly. They will ask you whether you're, because there is a dearth of writers for Indian football in India. There are very specific, less writers who kind of do it in detail, me being one of them. So it's you need to kind of, even though you don't fancy it, at least keep knowledge of it. That's all I would suggest. Keep knowledge of it. You
It's
should.
actually fascinating this season. If you look at the league standing,
Yeah.
again, talking both of us here, but if anyone in the audience, if you are following it, and if you're not, you should just check out the league table right now. You will see how competitive it is right now.
It is insane. It is insane. I mean, Hyderabad FC, I did not expect them to be so good this season, but the decline of Mumbai City has been crazy, and I'm a fan of Mumbai City.
Yeah, same goes for me. Bangalore FC is not in top four, which is pretty astonishing for me.
It's weird.
Just gotten used to.
It's weird.
Right. But it was great talking to you, Mudit, and audience, the live audience. I hope we could, enlighten some of the things that we have learned in the past, especially in Mudit's case. He has a lot more experience than I have. But yeah, in case you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us on LinkedIn or Twitter, and I'm very happy to help people because that's what we have done. You've already heard Mudit's story about how he got how the grind he had to do for 6 long years. Same pretty much with me. I'll probably talk about my story sometime later. But yeah,
Kevin
all
just
right.
commented.
Sorry.
Kevin just commented, "Athletic is next level thing. On field and off field news are insane." Like absolutely, man. It's like the Avengers of football.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah. Great session. Great session. Thanks a lot, guys. Thank you, Amol. I would love to join in the future anytime for any other topics too. It's okay.
definitely.
Yeah.
Great job. Thank you all. Have a good day. Bye.
Bye.